And then anybody who came to my deck, they were like, oh my God, your outdoor furniture is incredible. I was like, thank you. It's all me. It's an absolute lie.
Welcome to Style Stories, brought to you by Easy Living Interiors, helping you transform your space and create the feeling of home.
Hello everyone, I'm Laura and today's episode is full of sunshine, seaside fun and the kind of joy that only Suzanne Kane can bring. Suzanne is known for sharing positivity and keeping things real, and in this conversation she opens up about her 6-year search to find the perfect holiday spot in Wicklow, how she's created a safe and joyful childhood for her kids just steps from the beach, and the rituals and inspirations that keep her energy so infectious. We'll chat design dilemmas, lifestyle tips and little choices that add up to a life filled with intention and joy. And of course, we'll end with her one golden take-home tip you won't want to miss. If you're ready for a dose of positivity, seaside inspiration and practical advice you can put into your own home and lifestyle, this episode is for you. So hello Suzanne, how are you today? Welcome.
Harry, I'm great. I'm flying it. I'm literally in heaven.
You look comfortable. You seem comfortable. Yeah, I'm glad. And of course, you saw our garden room in the summer.
I did. Oh.
And all of the bits and the bobs. And seaside life. I think the quote you used was, this is a visual representation of me entering my seaside life era.
Seaside ma'am life era. Yes. So I came in here to get, because we had no outdoor furniture. So we got our mobile, which we'll chat about 3 years ago. So I went over to my mother-in-law's mobile and went to her shed and went, what do you have? Because we'd given all the money to the mobile. So then I was like, we'd no outdoor furniture. And then obviously you guys started to tease me online around April. It was a bit like, have you seen a little bit of this? You know, do you like a little bit of that? And I was like, oh. So then I came to the Sandyford store and then I walked in. And obviously as well, because it's so beautifully put together, like as it, you know, you kind of go and look at something online. If you look at the website and you go, that looks lovely. And I think I picked the Hampton, but then it was like the cushions and the throws and then the little bit of a rug. And I was like, I want it all. So yeah, it was officially me entering my seaside mom era because I spent the whole summer at the seaside.
It was stunning. And just Sarah John, yeah, her styling here is incredible.
Oh my God. If it was Sarah, it was all Sarah, because I was like, what do you think? And actually my eldest kid, I was 10 and I was on my way over and we got a call, you know, the call from the school. It's like, can you come and get them? So he came with me while he was in his element. Oisin was like fixing all of the cushions, like, get that colour, ma'am. So we arrived out with all of the bags, delighted with our life. And then it was just all, because Sarah went, style it this way. And I went, I'll do exactly as you say.
Exactly what you say.
And then anybody who came to my deck, they were like, oh my God, your outdoor furniture is incredible. I was like, thank you. It's all me. It's an absolute lie. It was all Sarah.
So I'll kick us off with some introductory questions. Sure. Suzanne, you've had such a joyful summer in Wicklow. How are you finding the transition back to Dublin life?
Horrific. Absolutely horrific. No, it was such a change of everything in my life. And do you know when something lands on your lap that you didn't realize you needed it, and then all of a sudden you were in it? Like I found myself on a beach at 7:20 meditating and singing bowls, and I was like, I don't know who she is, but I'm here for her. So getting back into life for all of us. My littlest girl, Sadie, is just turning 5, so she went into junior infants, as she calls it. So she's gone to junior infants, so she's their problem now. And then the other 2 kids, like Hannah went into senior school and she went into 5th. So we were back to routine of gymnastics and GA and all of those little fabrics of life that I love. But it was going from very late starts at the seaside, them just throwing on shorts and t-shirts and running out, to uniforms and, you know, their school bags and back to their routine. So it has been definitely a little bit of a twist, but I do love the Burr months. Right, and then with Burr months always comes like, I'm resetting my entire life. I literally resetting my entire life. So that's where I'm at with it. So it hasn't been the worst, but for my husband, when I told him that we're doing a whole new bedroom, he was just a bit like, the mobile wasn't enough. No, I was like, have you seen this room? It's the ugliest room in the house. So that's the Burr job, the bedroom.
I love the Burr months as well. La 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 month, you know, like Gilmore Girls, La 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 month. Very much it. And la 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 la. But no, I know what you mean though, that like the routines, once the routines start kicking in and you're like, oh,
I know, we're back at it. But you know what? I'm so thankful for the summer and everything that it brought. And I do think you do need the bit of structure. Also, it's kind of the first time that I'm not on an unbelievable roller coaster of life that I'm up at 7:30 and there's no time to move. We have to be gone at a time. I have to be on air at 10 o'clock. I have to be out the door to collect the kids. Whereas now I'm so incredibly grateful because I have that little bit of space in the morning. We now in the morning in the car, all of the kids get to pick a song each to set us up for the day, for the school run. So like, you know, it's very eclectic. We're heavily in Demon Hunters. If K-pop, if you're in it in your house, you'll understand. You know, I didn't realise that I would still have it on driving home going up is a like golden is a tune, do you know what I mean? But that said, my son then got into Oasis because his dad went to Oasis over, so he's given it the, you know, 10-year-old, can I listen to Supernova? I'm like, stick it on. And then Hannah always comes in with something wild. She's 8, so it's either something she's dancing to, which could be the lyrics are not necessarily appropriate, but give it all of this. So she's doing a bit of that in the back. So yeah, like I love that, and I'm kind of really grateful I have that time to go. I go for a walk, go for a stupid mental health walk then.
I love. You've actually inspired me when it comes to the kind of taking time for yourself, and like even what you say about the meditating. I've started Pilates lately and I do it. I make it every day. I do Pilates, and it's like even if I don't want to do it, I'm doing it. And it's just that time of like, I saw your post about what are the girls wearing for our walk.
Yeah.
But I've been really enjoying buying the bits to make myself feel cute while I do my mental health Pilates.
Yeah, I'm going to spend all my money in Easy Living Interiors, so I'm in for that as well. I do need more kind of walking attire, probably going into the colder months. But it is that I'm like, what do we wear? And also, I'm very acutely aware of the past 10 years of my life that didn't afford. And you know when you have like people going, guys, get up at 5:30, journal, meditate, take time for yourself. I was like, when? I'm frazzled. Like I was just constantly on this roller coaster. And obviously somewhere, whether you believe in woo-woo or not, last summer I was driving and I said to my husband on the phone, I can never do a summer like this ever again. The kids were going into camps and like we were just running, and and obviously the universe went, okay, I'll make that happen for you. So, you know, as much as you kind of go, oh, it's lovely and all of those things, I genuinely am acutely aware of how lucky I am that currently I get to do that. I mean, financially at some point I probably will have to put the brakes on. Mind you, the bedroom will get done before that.
Some gorgeous bed frames.
Don't even start with me.
Bed frames. I'm just saying. You often share such positive energy online. Is that something you actively practice, or does it just come naturally to you? Are you naturally a positive person?
I think I am, but I think I'm realistic. I think I always show up as a real person. I've definitely struggled this year for a million reasons. But I have great people around me. My husband is unbelievable and he's just anchors me down. And I think me showing up online and being like having, you know, a breakdown probably isn't good for any of us. Do you know, that kind of way? But I do say about like going for, you know, and I use the word ironically saying a stupid mental health walk, but that going out and having a walk is so important. And it does, like the first 10 minutes of that walk. Oh my God. I keep saying I need to do a reel because it's just me walking along going, oh my God, I have to go and do this. Why did they say that? That really hurt my feelings and I can't believe I didn't get that done. Oh my God, do I need to go and do that? And then by this last 10 minutes, I'm like, I can take on the world. Yeah. I am ready to do it. So I do try and be as positive as I can. I describe myself as the orange crayon. So the orange crayon is bright, but she's maybe not necessarily the colour you pick the first time round. You may pick the pink, you may pick the blue, you know, you might even go for the green, but then you use the orange and you go, oh my God.
She brings a lot.
But yeah, so I very much describe myself as the orange crayon. I think that I try and bring a little bit, but also, you know, I'm really grateful I have a deadly bunch of people on Instagram that I engage with all of the time that I think are just a galhood that I'd be lost without, and they definitely kind of push me along and are a bit like, and my mates are saying,
yeah, it's the people that you have around you, I think, is really
100%.
People who are around are who you are, and that's what your life kind of transfers into. Yeah. But no, what you said there about like like having breakdowns, is that good for anyone? I think that's really good for everyone, because like I think making it more known and more acceptable that we all have days.
We do.
And we can sometimes feel like, oh, well, Instagram, and we see everyone having a great time and people share the great and the good. But it's really important to see the hard.
Well, yeah, and I think that that's what mine is that it's not curated content by any means. It's very much just me. But also, do you know what? To be really honest with you, like I'm 45 and but I think that there's a demographic of women that are kind of late 30s and into their, late 40s and early 50s that we're navigating a life that we have no blueprint for, because our parents, especially our moms, just did whatever they had to do. We're the first kind of generation of women that are, went to college, have careers, trying to juggle. We're supposed to be these ever-present moms, but ever-present in our careers, having it all. And there is a level that you can have it all, but then you've gone from your 20s being your 20s, then maybe your 30s is having children, trying to have children, all that goes with that, because it is a roller coaster. And then somewhere in your mid 40s, you're plunged into a completely different hormonal space that you're like, what is this? How did I end up here? So I think for me, especially on Instagram, is that there's so much serotonin in connection. And I would be said something about perimenopause, and I was like, oh Christ. I said to Joe, I was like, oh Christ, I've mentioned perimenopause now. But that's it, me, I'm a dinosaur. But then the amount of women who were like, I'm right where you are. And then I went, no, I'm right where you are. And there was a lovely galhood in that. So I think that's where I like showing up, and feeling, because I think there's a whole generation of women that maybe don't necessarily feel seen, but we're very here. Exactly. And we're very much part of everything that's happening. And actually, if you talk to us and speak to us, there's a lot to be said there,
Yeah, totally. And I think that's what it is with you and the positivity. Your positivity is in a sense of real. You're honest. You're yourself. Yeah, exactly. And that's really inspiring. So we've got a question from Anne.
Hi,
Anne. Suzanne.
Oh, there you go.
Question from Anne for Suzanne.
Okay.
Suzanne, you're known for your energy and creativity across radio, TV and podcasting. How does that creative side translate into how you approach your home? Do you find your broadcasting personality and TV personality influences your interior design style?
My home style is probably very different. I think that Suzanne Kane, in terms of broadcasting, and I think that's probably, you're very worky, whereas at home I'm very much ma'am, and it is very much a home for my children. I think my house is just a very warm space for my kids, so I think it probably doesn't, but there's parts of me trickles throughout the house that are little nods to our life or bits before we had kids and all of that. So no, I think probably I definitely have a creative streak because of what I do, but I don't think it's probably, I think if you walked into my house you wouldn't know what I do for a living or anything like that. You'd just go, as my mother says, it's a lot of toys, isn't there? So my mum just goes, they want for nothing, do
and
they?
Family life.
Yeah, my mum is just like, anything left in the toy shop? That kind of thing. And then my kids are like, here's what I want for Christmas. So yeah, I think that's probably my style, is in terms of work, and you probably wouldn't find it that much in the house.
Yeah.
Sorry, Anne, I hope that helped.
So Katie asks, you're constantly surrounded by sound and energy. Do you lean towards calm, minimal spaces at home, or do you embrace bold design too?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely both. There's, ironically, we have sound waves on one of the walls, which is weird. But yeah, there's definitely, and I think in most people's homes, I think you need to have a bit of space that you claim as your own. And joking aside, this is probably why the Burr months now is the reset, and our bedroom is the reset. I've worked really hard on the kids' rooms and our sitting room, literally now as the kids have got older, they're moving, staying kind of in the back of the kitchen, and they're staying in their playroom, and I'm reclaiming my sitting room again. We have a beautiful fire in our sitting room. It is going into the Burr months, and sitting in front of a fire. So this is how good Easy Living is, right? Let me tell you about a trip to Easy Living Interiors with my husband. We came up to buy, and we have I think pretty much this kitchen table that's over beside us, right? We came to buy this kitchen table. Now, I mean, this was on the list. It was the big investment we were getting, so we knew all about it. Up we went to get organised. And my husband sat on a sofa, a couch. I'm doing the kitchen business, he's out on a couch. We bought a couch that day, not the kitchen table. So I was like, he was like, we can come back for the kitchen table. I was like, we really need it. He was like, with this couch, he literally was like this going, we need this couch. I was like, well, no, we have no legs in our kitchen table. No, we need this. We got the couch. And I have to say, anybody who comes into my sitting room goes, oh my God, this couch. I'm like, I know, right? I know. It needs actually, now that I see these, I'm like, it needs a couple of new cushions probably to spruce it up. But yeah, I think you need to have your space where you can just totally be
relaxed. Exactly. The sofa is just the one. Let's talk about your home away from home in Wicklow. You've spoken about spending 6 years searching for the perfect place to holiday at home. What kept you motivated during that time while you were searching?
My husband, because he really wanted it. It was always Joey's dream. I didn't go to a mobile growing up. So Joey definitely was the driving force. Joey's parents are in the same mobile park that we're in. So we were still up and down. But honestly, on a Sunday evening, I remember we had been down with Joey's parents and it was really a lovely sunny day and there's a field in the middle of our mobile park and all of the kids were playing football and we were going home. And I remember being like, I really want that. I don't think we even had Sadie at the time. And I was like, I really want that for our kids. I want that feeling of them just being here. So I think that was always it. And you'd just be like, anything coming up, anything. And it was just, do you know what? I honestly, I know I sound whatever, but I do honestly believe in the timing of life. I really do. And it landed and Joey and I always say it about everything. It's like it will land when it's meant to land for us, it will land for us. And it did. And it landed just when it should land for us. So yeah, so that's what kind of kept us going for it. We got there in the end.
Vision and the end result.
Yeah, I was like, we'll get there. I do genuinely think with things, I'm just like, it'll happen.
It'll happen.
Yeah, it'll happen when it's meant to happen, and it did. Yeah, so it definitely did. So there was no big like, oh my God, well, I was just like, it'll happen. Exactly.
What does the feeling of home mean to you?
The mobile is, I feel so far away, and I am not far away at all. There is something just so calm about being at the seaside. But at home is my family life. I don't think I ever take for granted that my children go to bed safely in their beds at night. We have a roof over our heads. We have a warm home. And just being there, like I remember us getting the house. Like we moved into our house 9 years ago and I was pregnant with Hannah. And it was like, and anybody going through it, right? It's like the this and the that and the back and the forward and your solicitor this and that. And we had so much work to do, right? We had an incredible builder and he got in and did what he had to do. We got our keys and we were moving from an apartment and I was pregnant with Hannah. So I took my bag from the apartment and I went into the coombe to have Hannah, and Joey moved Oisín, who was 2, and him into the house. And I remember just wiping a drawer and of the Belgian wardrobe and putting my underwear in it because I was like, I'm going to have a baby, so priorities, I know where they are. And I closed the drawer and everything was just covered. And Joey was moving us in, and then when I brought Hannah home and she and I walked through the house for the first time together. And I was like, not renting, this is our home. So I know it sounds quite cliche, but I have 3 healthy children, and we live in a lovely home. We've got great neighbours. I'm mad and we're near our local GA club. We've an incredible community. So I think to me, ultimately that's it. Like I think you've won the lotto of life. Like I know, but Joey and I say that all the time. I'm like, we've really won the lotto of life. Yeah. We'll have totally won it now when I get the bedroom done. No, I'm joking. But like, you know what I mean? It is. That's home, and it is really cliche, but that is 100% home to me.
That's really special. Yeah. I love that you and Hannah.
Yeah, we did. We came home together. There was balloons outside the door, and my sister-in-laws did that, and we walked in together. And half the house is a building site, right. So we could only live like kind of in the kitchen and the back part of the kitchen and the front, the sitting room, and like I think Oisín's room was done and then Hannah was coming in with us.
Yeah.
And even that, like, it's so funny, as a homeowner, especially if you have children and young children, they take priority. Yeah. Do you know, like making their bedrooms home for them were always so important. Like, so actually the 3 of them are kitted out incredibly, like, and then their playroom was gorgeous. And, so there's I just think having comfort. And I said to Joey, I have a acute memory of growing up that my mom would be in the kitchen and my dad had an armchair in front of the fire, and it being winter time and my mom making dinner, my mom and dad talking in the kitchen and the fire being lit and watching whatever on the telly, and just that gorgeous feeling of like, it was winter and warmth and there's a dinner on and, and I was like, I want my kids to feel that because that's quite like it is literally the lottery of life. Like, so, yeah.
Aww, that's really nice. That's one of my favourite feelings of home I've heard described. Can you paint a picture for us of what life is like down in Wicklow, 40 steps from the beach?
I was somebody, I think it was when I gave the magazine interview, I said 40 steps, and one of the lovely ladies from our mobile park came over and said, it's actually 80 something. And I went, okay, I was just trying to throw people off, but thank you for that. Seaside life is more than I ever dreamed it would be. This was my first summer that I did it for the full summer, and it gave the kids so much, but it gave me so much. I was terrified. I didn't grow up going down to a mobile. Actually, the idea of it probably would have been my mom's idea of entire hell. I figured out that I probably brought way too much stuff down, because the mobile doesn't have loads of storage. I've arrived with 40 suitcases, an outfit for every day for the children. Do you know, like the whole shoot and schmozzle? And then you end up in the same pair of shorts. It is just the safest environment, I suppose, for the kids. So we'd get up and this summer, like, we struck gold. I remember one day it was cloudy and the kids went, can we not go to the beach today? And I was like, no problem. Like, where would you get it? Like, and my favorite thing was like just the conversations of like, oh, it's just like being in the Mediterranean, and just the community of being down there. So yeah, the seaside life just was so slow and very safe, and I felt at home. And I genuinely went into the summer really concerned because Joey wasn't going to be there. He had to be up and work in the garage, and I didn't really know anybody down there, and the kids had to navigate, they'd made friends, but they'd never spent a summer with these other kids. So yeah. And then honestly, within 3 or 4 days, I was just like, wow, we've made, like the end of the summer. I remember the very start of the summer, one of my Seaside mom friends said, oh, the worst is the last day of the summer and packing up. And she's like, I cry every year driving out. And I was like, get over yourself. Like, it's ridiculous. And I was hysterical. She pulled up to say goodbye to us. Like I like wept in the shower, like, because I was like, this is coming to an end. And it was just because it was so special. And for and the kids wrote notes to like their friends, and like they were like, Hannah has like a really good group of girls, and they're like hugging each other, and I'm like, it's okay, she only lives up the road. Well, it's kind of play date. But just that feeling, and that's what my husband spoke about. Like, my husband went down to our mobile on Saturday night and stayed there with the gang that he hung around with his whole life, in that, like, and they have been friends like 40 years. So that, if my kids get that, that's the magic done then.
Yeah, that's lovely. Finally, we were delighted to help you bring some of that seaside magic to your outdoor space with our Hampton range of furniture. How important has that outdoor setup been in creating the lifestyle you imagined?
Oh my God. I was full show off Seaside mom with that furniture, right? Because so where we are on our field, we set it up. So Joey and I set it up together, and it turns out we actually like doing those activities together. Joey takes the lead, but I'll just say, here's what we're doing. But it got set up, and like, just by the nature of it, like, oh, that's beautiful. I'm like, thank you very much. He's living interior. I said, have you seen my cushions? But then we do the Seaside Moms on a Thursday, would have like a Seaside Mom mental health check-in, wine. Between 4 and 6, and then I got to host on my deck. Now, that would not have been possible last year because I literally had robbed my mother-in-law's couple of chairs. But it, like, there's a gorgeous sense of pride of like, even I loved the ceremony of getting the cushions in the morning. Let's get the cushions, and we'd all put the cushions out, and then I'd be putting down that's beautiful. Look at that. Yeah, I'd be doing and then had Hannah doing the chop. I was doing the chop, Hannah, and Hannah, anybody came in, she'd be like, just see, and you'd be sitting. But actually, because the weather was good and having that outdoor furniture, sitting outside, like I sat outside and read books so much and with my cap on, or someone would come up and we'd sit outside. Like this summer, like I sat on that outdoor furniture with my mother-in-law. I had so many cups of tea, and you'd put the world to right, or one of the neighbours would come down, whatever. So that actually, it's mad to think like a piece of furniture. Do you know, because you just go, it was something I always wanted. But then I actually went, we've so many pictures of like just randomly, like I've loads of pictures of my legs that I sent to Joey of me being like, with a cap and reading a book and being, having an ice cream. And for the first, I'd say 3 weeks, I was like, Jesus, with the ice, don't. over there. Don't sit on my furniture with it. And then like by the end of it, Sadie's sitting like a little wipe. And it is honestly though, because I love it so much. I'm actively Googling how I can store it for the winter with the correct storage. So I'm like, I need to find the correct type of thing to put all of my cushions in and to put all my stuff that I can take it out and show off again next summer. So it was a focal point.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved it. Vera and Sarah and the styling helped.
I love what you say about the ceremony of taking out cushions.
I loved the ceremony. Yeah. It should be the worst job ever.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean though. It's like putting the towel out on a sun lounger. Do you know that kind of? It's like the start of your day, the sun's just starting to come.
Come in and sit down. And we had, so I did Thursday, and our one has the Hampton, and it has a little ice bucket in the middle of it. And we had the ladies over.
I know. I was bougie, though. It's a feeling of bougie.
Unbearable.
Yeah.
Unbearable. I was on the Joey's like, stop, right? I really wanted the egg jar. I had a whole pole and everything. And Joey's like, I need to just cool it now with it. And I was like, okay. And then I was on the website seeing I now need heat, right? Because one of the tables had like a fire in the middle. And I was like, have I made the wrong decision? Should I have got the fire pit? I was like, maybe I should have got the fire pit. Then I was like on the website going, there has to be like heat. So that's next year. I'm like, I need, because I need to stay out later. We have to go 2 vans up to the Carters. I go up and scab their heat if it's cooler in the evening. And then Hannah rats me out to her teacher. But it was a cooler night.
Yes, yeah. Next up is the mood board. This is where we ask about inspiration, what's motivating you right now in life and in the way you approach each day. When you're not in Wicklow, what's inspiring you right now in design, in life, and in how you approach each day?
I think everything for so many people, and I think particularly women, I think we're all consuming and we give everything to our work or our kids, if you have kids or whatever that is, and we show up all of the time. And I am working very hard on giving myself a bit of peace, because I would feel guilty for doing anything for myself. So now I go for my walk and finding the little, and they are pebbles of joy because I think maybe through social media, I don't know whether we've become kind of, unbeknownst to us, accustomed to everything being these massive gestures. Like, you see like whatever it be, like these massive birthday parties, or it's, whereas actually the most happiest moments are just in these tiny little pebbles of life. Like I probably sound sad, but it genuinely makes me so happy. But I'm a coach for Sadie's GAA Academy, right? So we have 68 4 and 5-year-old little girls on a Saturday morning running around in our local GAA. And on a Friday night, they're in groups. So they're in blue, in green, and pink, and red. And I write their names out. I write all these little girls' names. So you have like Luna and Scotty and Gracie and, Ava. And I write them all their names out and put their little stickers on them. And that, to me, it's like one of my favourite parts of the week. And then the next, like on Saturday morning, they were all back and I was like, morning, how are you? It's great to have you back. And that to me is like more than, I think maybe subconsciously we're just force fed so much big stuff. Yeah. Where actually when you just find the little stuff, because we're all just trying to trundle through life, and kids have their issues and your relationship and all of those things. But if you can just pluck the pebbles, I think you add your little stack of pebbles and you go. So when you feel a little bit like, which I do, I go, oh my God, this is really overwhelming, or, I'm feeling quite sad now. It's like, okay, I'm just going to try and pick up one of those pebbles and be like, I'm going to hang on to this for a sec. I actually have an orangey kind of pebble at my windowsill in the kitchen where I stand most, right? It's beside the air fryer. So I stand there most, right? Because you're just essentially a snack company is all you do. Yep. I'm hungry. So am I. Haven't eaten in weeks. But no, what would you like? Chicken, no problem. Let me do it. So, but I have this orange kind of really smooth pebble that I picked up on the beach, but it reminds me of the galhood. It reminds me that there's lots of women feeling the way I'm feeling right now. So I always pick the pebble up and just kind of, and then I put the pebble back down.
It's almost grounding in a
Very
sense.
Much, yeah. 100%. So yeah.
It's funny, I went for a lunchtime walk with my partner the other day, and it was a nice little walk. The sun was out. It was kind of like, it was a cold day, but the sun was out and we really enjoyed it. And I said, it's the small things really make for the big things. And he was like, I don't know exactly what that means, but I agree with you. But it's what you're saying here about, like, you don't need big moments in life that are like, oh, the big excessive holiday that you're going on, or the big gift that your partner got you for your birthday.
No, but
it's
I
the little
stress
things.
on the big excessive holiday. Like, I put all of the work into doing all of those things, and actually I don't think a lot of us get a chance to enjoy them, because you're sun creaming kids that don't want to be sun creamed, or you're doing all of those things, but we still do them all. We're not going to not do them.
Yeah.
But it's the little bits.
It's the little things.
It's the little bits, and taking the time to. So that's it.
So your career in broadcasting. How did you know you wanted to work in broadcasting, and how did you get into it?
I used to record myself reading things. On a, before you even knew about life, on a cassette player. I used to record myself. Also, the priest in mass. I used to think that's a great gig, because everyone sits and watches you. Like, I was like, well, obviously then, couldn't be a priest for numerous reasons, mostly lifestyle. But I was like, imagine being there and kind of talking to people and them listening or whatever. So I loved that. My cousin, which I harp on a million times, my cousin is Chris Moyles. He worked in radio just by coincidence. I went over when I was 14 to London to the BBC and saw what he was doing and was like, holy, like, I want all of that. And then just kind of, so I started like driving cars and doing whatever, and navigating my way through. There is something, I think podcasting is becoming one of my favorite things, because there's a real jaded approach to people going, oh, Jesus, another podcast. I'm like, give me another one. Do it, make it, And I tell myself that I have crisis all the time. I think I'm like, oh, I'd love to do a podcast. And I go, Jesus, who'd listen to you? But they're broadcasting, especially radio and podcasting, audio. There's something special about audio, because people let you into the weirdest nuances of their life and their day, and you're just in their ears, just doing what you're doing, do you know? So there's something really special, I think, in that. And I think I found that gorgeous connection. And I keep saying it about serotonin and connection, like, and that feeling. I thrive on connection with people. I think I'm probably only learning that as I've got older, because I think I've been always had maybe a conscious confidence problem or unconscious confidence problem, making those physical connections with people or putting myself out there to talk to them, so I could do it via radio, where it was very anonymous in podcasting.
Interesting.
Yeah, because essentially if you are by yourself in a radio studio, you're just by yourself, and you're just talking to yourself, and there's no one to judge, and no one's looking, and your reaction is via WhatsApp.
Yes.
So there's no one looking at you going, whereas telly is very visual, and it's another incredible craft, and I love doing telly. I just think when people tell you, like, I know mad stuff of like stuff that was on the radio, like when Hannah was born and was playing in the Coombe, or like when we lost my dad, the radio was on in Tala Hospital. And I remember them saying that they used to play the radio in ICU, so there was noise at night. I cannot go to sleep without something being on at night time. I always have.
Yeah.
So I think that there was just something from the time I was 14, and people were like, oh, because you're chatty or you're whatever. And I'm like, I am the most unconfident person you will ever meet. My mate slags me because I am the most introvert extrovert. I go home, I'm very much a mom, and I'm not an out there chatting to everybody. Like, we go shops and my best mate chats to everyone. I'm like, can you give it a rest? And she's like, it isn't mental you do the job you do. Because she was like, my job to her is she's like, I couldn't do this for love nor money, but she's really extrovert, whereas I'm quite an introvert when I'm out and about. So I just think broadcasting is the most beautiful thing you can do, and I think if someone gets a connection out of that, I think you've just hit. And there's so many brilliant broadcasters that I love. So there you go. But there's something about, like, you'd be listening for your favorite song on the radio, or like I genuinely, and if anybody's working and they say hi to my kids on air, there's something magic in hearing your name being said on the radio. There really is. I just think it's great. And I think if you're podcasting and you're trying to find your way that way as well, I think that there's so much out there, but that's not a bad thing. I think we have one of the highest kind of engagements of podcasting, which is amazing. So so that was kind of it. I fell into it more through connection that I didn't realise. That took me a lot of years to figure that out.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was the introvert's connection.
Yes, I'm kind of the same myself. When I'm here, I'm like,
you're on, you're working, right?
Yeah. And then, what's your favourite podcast, or do you have a favourite podcast at the moment?
I don't. I'm heavily into listening to loads of psychology podcasts at the moment. I love Roxy Nafusi. I think she's incredible. Joanne McNally is a friend, and obviously her and Vogue are just so funny. Dominique is doing an incredible podcast called The Motherload, but having amazing conversations. I love that as well. I listen to a podcast every single night and I listen to one in the morning when I go for a walk, but it's kind of what I'm looking for at that time. So I'm getting around them, and I love a podcast recommendation. I love something I feel like that I get something from.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like I do like a self-help and a something about that might be a little bit more in terms of where you are from a psychological perspective, or can you help yourself for a well-being. So yeah, I think that's where I'm at, because we do the music in the car and then I go for the walk and I put somebody in my ears and I go walk around going, yes, you're so right, I can heal my life.
It's time for a quick fire round. We'll ask you 5 quick questions to get your top tips, favourite things and style preferences. No need to overthink it. This round is about first instinct.
Okay.
Favourite beach in Ireland?
My beach, obviously, in Wicklow, 100%. Goes without saying.
Go to Seaside treat.
Oh, sweet and salty popcorn.
Best book?
Do you know one of the standout books that I've read is, and it's out a while, but if you haven't read it yet, Liz Nugent's Strange Sally Diamond. I read it in a day and a half, and it hurt me more than anything. Like, it was just like, but I couldn't stop ingesting it. Like, I needed to put it in the freezer, but I was like, I need to know what happens. And I was like, oh my God. And she's just an incredible writer.
Morning ritual you swear by?
The walk, yeah. I'm not kidding you when I tell you it has literally saved me.
Set you up for the best day though, I think.
Yeah.
Favourite TV watch at the moment, or maybe TV show that just ended that was your favourite?
Traitors. It was so perfectly cast and I was living for it. And if you haven't seen it, spoiler alert, but Naman Heron, the women of Ireland coming together at the end, Kelly and Vanessa and Owen, I just couldn't cope, and I had to take myself away from realising these are normal human beings. I was like, kill him, and then was like, he's a real life nice human being and they're just taking part, and it was an incredible game player. But it was just, and do you know what, I love an appointment like DIY SOS. I love an appointment television that you get to sit down. We're going into Celebrity, I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, and my kids will watch that. So in a world of quick consumption of like lashing through the episodes, appointment television is really, really important. And I think especially the ones like, Dancing with the Stars that bring all the family together, I think they're really, I love those. Do you know, like when you watch Dancing with the Stars though, and you're like, I don't know about that rumba. Like, I couldn't walk to there. I'm like this on the couch, right? It was the rumba, I don't know.
Will we see you on Dancing with the Stars at any stage, do you think?
Oh, I do Dancing with the Stars in a flash. They wouldn't take me. I've never been asked. Never been asked. But yeah, so I do. I think appointment television, and like Baz does DIY SOS, and again, like you're an interior designer when you watch Dermo, that is essentially adult content for women of my age. Yeah. Dermot Bannon is like our adult content man. Yeah. I got a pergola and a child out of Room to Improve.
What do you mean?
So Dermot did a pergola in one of the houses, and my husband went, I think I could make a pergola.
Oh, he was inspired by it, so he did it. Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Anyway, so there you go.
On that note, thank you, Suzanne. I really enjoyed that chat. Thank you. And I'm sure our listeners really will as well.
Oh, I hope so.
Thank you for joining us on Style Stories with Easy Living Interiors. You can hear all the news, including links to more information, in the description area of this podcast. Please share our show with a friend who might enjoy it. Simply search Style Stories with Easy Living Interiors on Apple, Spotify or YouTube. This podcast is produced by justpod.io for Easy Living Interiors.